Hey Kabos, what's up? Final here today, Final Fantasy Talk, and today we're going to talk about the Final Fantasy community and YouTube, and we're going to talk about how did I start YouTube in the first place, why did I start posting, what brought me to this point today, and yeah, so first off, I'm going to start off with the most, probably the big one, how do I start YouTube? Pretty much how I first, why did I create my channel, because the people who inspired me to make videos was NGT, Next Gen Tactics, and they're a Call of Duty, huge Call of Duty channel in YouTube, and you know, they make zombies, Minecraft, and other games as well. I was in their server for Minecraft, and that's pretty much what I did first, was Minecraft. I made huge builds with my buddy, and then they recorded them. They recorded our builds, and they posted it on their channel. So it wasn't technically my video, but it was me in their video. And I rewatched it. I rewatched me talking in the video, rewatch how what I did in the video, and I was just thinking, wow, that's pretty cool, and people are saying, this is a pretty cool build. So yeah, then I started my own channel, and I was just like, hey, first video I did was Minecraft, and it's like a speed run, and it was it was pretty bad. I was really nervous when I first started YouTube. Like, I think my first commentary, you hear me shaking, you hear me, going, talking like this, like going like that, and, it was pretty cool, I guess all starter YouTube videos are not the best as always, and then later in YouTube they get better, and they fully show their personality. So yeah, that's how it really started. And then I got into Final Fantasy, got an easy cap. Oh god, and that was a terrible capture card. $10 for the thing, so it was only $10. Recorded Final Fantasy because I really love Final Fantasy. My name was Final Fantasy 33 X, so I recorded that. For some reason, I posted Lollipop Chainsaw. I don't know why. I think that's still on my channel. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not. And I did Metal Gear Solid. I kind of removed that because my name is Final Fantasy 33 X, so all that was gone, and Final Fantasy was still there. So, and then I got my HD PVR, so I recorded with that, and then I first did like commentary. I did commentary over video, and boy, if you go back to that video, I'm nothing like today. Like, yeah, that was pretty bad commentary, but hey, you gotta learn from your mistakes and everything. So I did that, and then when Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns was first announced, I watched the live stream. And I was just like, hey, I'm actually going to record this and post this on my channel. So I did that, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe I should talk over this. And I was thinking, hey, this is probably a good series of making. So it's like, okay, let's call it Final Fantasy Talk. So I did that, and that's pretty much how my channel grew from that. I think I was at 30 subs back then when I was doing that. And then it grew, or not at 30, like 10 subs when I was doing that, 10 subscribers when I was first started Final Fantasy Talk. So I did that, Final Fantasy Talk, Lightning Returns mostly, and then it went from there. And yeah, today right now I'm sitting at almost 140 subs. That's pretty big for me, and all because of Next Gen Tactics and other networks like that, and GTPO. Don't get me started with that. GTPO is, yeah, it was a Call of Duty, and I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. So, yeah, they're the reason why I'm here today, and, yeah, and, it's really cool, and I'm partnered with a new network now, and I thought I would never get partnered with a network, and I'm only at 140 subs, pretty much. So, RPM Network, they're a new network, and they gave me all the tools and everything. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So that's how I started YouTube. Now I want to talk about the Final Fantasy community, okay? Final Fantasy community and YouTube, it's not big at all. You might think it's big. It's really not. It's not big at all. There's probably, there's probably a lot of Final Fantasy channels out there, but they're not probably noticed at all. Now, I'm not bragging or anything, but I think probably one of the most big Final Fantasy, like only Final Fantasy. Now I'm not talking about people who play Final Fantasy on their channel. You know those channels are just like, yeah, we're gonna play every single game. You know, go from Metal Gear to COD to Final Fantasy to Zelda. Not that channel. We're not talking about that channel. We're talking about the channel that does Final Fantasy only, and that's me. And that's other channels too. And I haven't seen any big channels out there that's just Final Fantasy. The only channel I've seen that was just Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy Fridays and me. That's the only one I can see. And if you want to leave some comments below if you know any bigger ones, then maybe I'm on the wrong side of YouTube, but those are only two I know. Now, there's other people that talk and stuff, like T-Gamer Reborn. That guy and Final Fantasy Nick, they do stuff as well. They talk about Final Fantasy, but they do their other thing too. They do other stuff and talk about other games as well. Me and Final Fantasy Fridays and other people right out there that just do Final Fantasy, we don't do that. We just talk about Final Fantasy 24/7 on our channel. Now, pretty much why I did Final Fantasy, because I hated seeing Call of Duty all over YouTube. It was just bad. I did not like it at all. So I'm not hating on Call of Duty at all. I still play it like every week, but it's just overwhelming seeing the only thing that you can do to get big on YouTube is be good at Call of Duty. That seems that's pretty much what it's like these days. That people think by playing Call of Duty and being good at Call of Duty is the only way you can get big on YouTube. That is incorrect, not right at all. Why I started Final Fantasy on my channel mainly was because, one, I love Final Fantasy. It's an amazing game. Two, I didn't want to be one of those COD wannabes, I didn't want to be the Call of Duty guy that was just like, yeah, check out my channel, I want to be big sometime, I want to be like CNanners or whatever, whoever those big Call of Duty gamers are. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna start my own thing. I'm gonna start my own thing with Final Fantasy because it gives me a shot in YouTube to do something, because really there's no big only Final Fantasy channel out there, and that's how I started. So we gotta grow it somehow. And we need more support. We need networks that will help us, because Final Fantasy is a great game, and people think Final Fantasy is dying out because of all the 13 games that are coming out, and with this MMO that's coming out, and Final Fantasy 13 Versus is not coming out yet, and people think Final Fantasy is dying. It's not dying at all. The only reason why we don't get noticed on YouTube because it's so much Call of Duty only all over YouTube, and Minecraft. Minecraft is huge on YouTube as well. And the main little thing at the bottom of YouTube that anybody barely sees is Final Fantasy, and it's kind of sad to talk about, and it's kind of making me overwhelming about talking about it here. But I don't know. I need some way to bring it up. I need to find somewhere how I can bring up Final Fantasy and help other YouTubers that are bringing up Final Fantasy, because I get messages from people and they want to be in my podcast. They want to check out their channel, and I do, and it's other Final Fantasy channels. How do you think I found I found T-Gamer Reborn and Final Fantasy Nick? They messaged me saying, hey, check out my channel. Do you want to do a video together? Can you look at my Final Fantasy video? I did. I checked it out. I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And then I added them on Skype, and then I talked to them about Final Fantasy, and it was really fun. So that's what I did. And I enjoyed it. So yeah, I really want this community to grow because it's a really great community, and so far we're doing pretty good. I don't know, I'm not saying I'm the biggest Final Fantasy channel on YouTube, but so far by views on my channel and on my videos, I'm probably the only one that gets noticed, and it's pretty sad because the smaller channels that like I'm small too. I'm really small, but I'm talking people smaller than me who have great content, like Final Fantasy Fridays. I don't know how the hell he hasn't passed me yet, but he has great content, but nobody can see his videos because it's all over about Call of Duty, and I can't stand it because it's stupid. So I pretty much what am I saying about all of this is that we need to get all our channels together to make one big one, and that's what I'm talking about. We need to bring all our channels together. Now, I'm not talking about doing a podcast. I'm talking about bringing all our channels together, all the Final Fantasy channels together, and start a main Final Fantasy channel network. That's what I'm thinking. That's probably the only chance how Final Fantasy will get noticed on YouTube. And, yeah, because there's like over 1,000 or a good 1,000 on my network, on RPM network. There's no one with Final Fantasy at all, on like nobody. I don't even know if there's like I don't even know if there's only like one channel based on Final Fantasy with Machinima or Yao. So I don't know, Kubos, but if any Final Fantasy channels are watching this right now, just main Final Fantasy channels, or it could be Final Fantasy channels and you have your little own thing as well, but mainly Final Fantasy, message me, and let's try to think of something, because we need to think of something and let everybody show how Final Fantasy is a great game. So yeah, Kubos, there you go. That's how I started YouTube, and that's the Final Fantasy community. Sadly, the Final Fantasy community is pretty small in YouTube, but hopefully we can build that up all together. And yeah, Kupos, hope you enjoyed. I'm Final. Let me know in the comments. Message me, Twitter, Final Fantasy 33 2, and Facebook, Final Fantasy 33. Yeah, Kupos, hope you enjoyed. I'm Final, and I'm out. Kupo, see ya.